A trigger in rosacea is something that you encounter that causes your face to flush. It turns red, it gets hot, and then it goes back down to normal. So, what exactly is happening here? So, this is normal skin. We have our normal vessels, and say we encounter a trigger, something like coffee or alcohol or sunlight. This causes our vessels to dilate. Our face turns red, it's flushed, it may be hot or irritated, maybe even itchy or have a burning sensation to it, but this is temporary and it subsides. However, if you frequently encounter triggers over many, many years, then the dilation of the blood vessels becomes permanent and they can't go back down to their small size. They are just enlarged. And this is an example of a woman with what we call telangiectasias, which are those tiny vessels that we can see clearly through the skin. So that's why in dermatology, we always emphasize keeping track of your triggers because you really want to avoid them over time to prevent your face from becoming permanently red. If you're unsure of your triggers, please download our rosacea journal below. It's free. It's meant to help track down what exactly may be causing you to flush. But let's talk about these triggers and what are the more common ones. So, as far as foods, there's a lot of culprits: alcohol, spicy foods, chocolate, coffee, things like that. And of these foods, which do you suspect is the most common trigger? And the answer is alcohol. 52% of patients with rosacea flush in response to alcohol. And next, heat. Heat is a very important one because we all, rosacea or not, our blood vessels dilate in response to heat. And if you have rosacea, they dilate even more so. So we really have to avoid anything hot. So things like sunlight, just being hot outside, a hot drink in your face, a hot shower, exercising really hard, if you're in a sauna, it all can dilate your blood vessels. And of these, which do you think is the most common trigger? And I put two because they're both very common, but sunlight, 81% of rosacea patients flush in response to the sun, and also hot weather is really common too. Now, on to just the weather itself. Things like temperature changes, the wind. If it's really cold outside, that can also cause your blood vessels to change, and if it's humid as well. And of these, the wind is the most common. 57% of rosacea patients flare in response to the wind. The next group includes skincare products. So anything that's going to irritate your skin, anything that's going to disrupt the delicate bacteria that's on our skin, and certain skincare products, certain cosmetics, just really anything that is going to irritate your skin can cause you to flush. And of these, the most common is certain skincare products. About 41% of patients flare in response to this. And lastly, systemic triggers, which are things that are hard to control. Things like stress can make rosacea worse. If you're embarrassed, if you take certain medications or have certain medical conditions, that can all worsen your rosacea. And as far as the systemic triggers, the most common is stress. Almost 80% of rosacea patients flare in response to stress. So that's why it's important to keep track of your possible triggers. Try to keep your flares under control as best you can. And again, if you're interested, please download our free daily rosacea journal below.